Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a bit different, not digging through studies, but exploring a really unique first-hand story from YouTube.
That's right. We've got a transcript here from a video called El Sendero de la Iniciación, Part 19. It's by Marcelo Martorelli on the Más Allá del Pensamiento channel. It's purely a personal account.
Exactly. So our goal isn't, to scientifically prove anything. It's more about unpacking this incredible encounter. What insights can we maybe pull from this personal narrative?
What resonates? Yeah, what does this story stir up? It's all about exploring the potential meaning within this one person's journey.
And it's quite a journey. The main event is basically a solitary walk in the woods that turns into something, well, extraordinary.
He encounters this luminous being, identifies him as Elon, in a clearing.
Okay, let's set that scene first. The beginning, the forest walk. What was that like?
Well, the transcript really paints a picture of peace. Quiet forest, bird sounds, smell of the trees. It really emphasizes that the disciple felt completely present, like totally immersed in the moment, just enjoying it, not thinking ahead, just being there.
That sounds important, that initial state of just being.
It feels foundational, yeah. And then suddenly there's this shift, the whole atmosphere changes.
Oh, how so?
He describes this intense internal vibration, something totally new, he says, but also serene. And really clear, not confusing, just intense and clear.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a significant change.
Definitely. It's like a signal, something's different. Maybe his being so present opened him up to it.
Maybe. And what did he do? Did he get scared or?
Interestingly, no. His response was, well, the transcript says he stopped, closed his eyes, and did it with total trust.
Total trust, just like that.
Yeah. No fighting it, no analyzing, just complete surrender to the moment. It's quite striking, actually.
It really is, that level of just acceptance. Is that maybe like a requirement for this kind of thing, or just how he reacted?
That's a great question. Hard to say, right? But it feels significant. It's like he opened a door.
And through that door comes Elon, this luminous being. The transcript stresses this radiant presence, an overwhelming feeling of love.
Indescribable loving energy, yeah. It must have been overwhelming.
I can only imagine. And the disciples' reaction.
Pure emotion. Tears, but like tears of recognition. And he whispers this question, you can feel the weight in it. Aries to Elon? Are you Elon?
Wow. So much packed into that.
Elon's reply, it's described as gentle but powerful, confirms his identity.
What does he say exactly?
He says, yes, dear brother, it is I. I have been with you always, although this be the first time you perceive me with your physical senses.
Always with you.
Yeah.
But only perceived now. That's profound.
It really is. It suggests there's like a whole reality constantly around us that we just don't usually tune into with our normal senses.
Which brings us to the why now question, doesn't it? Why did Elon appear at that specific moment?
Exactly. And Elon explains it. It was about the disciple's inner state. His heart had reached a certain point.
Okay. What point was that? What were the prerequisites?
A few key things Elon mentions. Absolute surrender, deep trust, a vibration, an energy that was pure, free from expecting anything, no conditions attached, and crucially, living from love without needing any kind of external proof or confirmation.
So it wasn't about doing something, but about being something, being in that state.
Precisely. It sounds like a profound act of letting go of, well, everything. Control, expectation, doubt.
And how does the disciple react hearing this explanation?
He's completely overcome, falls to his knees. But not in despair, in inexpressible peace and joy. He feels this long, long wait is finally over.
For release.
A huge release. Realizing that constant background noise, that anxiety and needing things to happen, is just gone, replaced by love and gratitude.
That must have felt incredible.
Yeah. And then Elon gently touches his shoulder, sort of reinforcing that peace, that reassurance.
And Elon emphasizes something important here too, right? About the physical meeting itself.
Yes, exactly. He makes it clear that appearing physically isn't the real validation.
Oh. What is then?
The disciple's current state. That feeling of surrender, that inner knowing, that's the proof, that's the confirmation he was ready. It completely flips the script on needing external signs.
The validation is internal.
It is. Elon explains that because the disciple's energy, his vibration, was so perfectly aligned with unconditional love, it, naturally allowed Elon to cross over.
Cross over, like a dimensional boundary.
Something like that. The transcript uses that idea, like their frequencies finally matched perfectly, allowing the connection to become physical.
Okay, so this huge moment happens. But Elon says it's not an ending.
Right. He says not a final, but a beginning, which is huge.
What does that mean? A beginning of what?
It means the disciple's role changes. He's told he now becomes a living bridge.
A living bridge. Between what?
Between dimensions, essentially. Between the surface world and the inner earth, the visible and the invisible, between different realities.
Massive responsibility.
It sounds like it. And the purpose is laid out to consciously work together, him and Elon, presumably for planetary healing, and to help awaken thousands of other hearts.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just personal anymore.
Not at all. Elon promises that the disciples' own experience, his presence, his words, his actions, they will now multiply this awakening effect exponentially.
So his transformation is meant to ripple outwards.
Exactly. And it's framed as joining something already happening, that this experience is a gateway to a reality shared by thousands who are also waking up. A collective shift.
Which naturally leads to the disciples' next question, which I think anyone would ask.
How on earth do I explain this to people?
Right. Will anyone even get it? It's such a human concern. And Elon's answer is really interesting. He's confident they will understand.
Through logic? Arguments?
No, not primarily. He says it'll be through the disciples' vibration, his very state of being.
So people will just feel it. Yeah. Anyone who comes into contact with them will sense the truth of what happened in their own heart. The understanding, the shift in them will be natural. Inevitable, even.
Why inevitable?
Because, Elon says, the potential for it is already seated in the collective field, the collective vibration. It's just waiting to be activated, almost.
That puts a different spin on communication, doesn't it? Less about finding the right words.
And more about embodying the truth, just being it.
So when should he share it? How does he know?
Elon's guidance is clear. Trust your inner knowing.
Back to the internal compass.
Completely. He's told he'll know with absolute certainty when and how. Guided by intuition, by his own awakened consciousness, trust the heart, no external instructions needed.
That theme of inner trust runs so deep through this whole account.
It really does. And then, after this guidance, there's another powerful moment. Elon embraces him.
An embrace. What happens then?
In that embrace, the transcript says, all remaining doubts just dissolve.
Yeah.
Completely vanish. Total acceptance, integration.
He knows his life has changed forever.
Fundamentally. And that this isn't the peak, it's just the start of a deeper, more luminous path ahead.
And then Elon leaves.
He gradually fades away, yeah. But not before reinforcing that core message one last time.
Which is?
That the whole encounter was possible because the disciple learned to live fully, now, in the present, without needing proof from the outside.
This is the secret that many need to understand, Elon says.
Exactly. It circles right back to that initial surrender in the forest. Living in the now, trusting the now.
Powerful. Any final words from Elon?
Words of encouragement, really. Live this deeply. Share it with love, with wisdom. A promise they'll meet again. And the final reassurance. Never are you alone. Always I am with you.
Always with you. Wow. Leaves you with a real sense of ongoing connection, doesn't it? And the disciples left there, just quietly contemplating, feeling complete, integrated, and pointed in a new direction by love.
What an incredible story. So when we step back and look at the whole thing, what are the big takeaways for you? Well, for me, it's definitely that emphasis on the inner state. You know, the surrender, the trust, the purity of intention. How crucial that seems to be.
Yeah, that really stands out. And this idea of being a bridge between realities.
Right, and the role of vibration. Not just personal vibration, but how it connects us. How it might be the real language of understanding underneath the words.
It makes you think, doesn't it, about our own lives. Those moments maybe where we feel really present or act on trust without really knowing why.
Absolutely. Kind of prompts the question. Could experiences like this, maybe not as dramatic, but still profound, could they be more common or more accessible than we think?
Waiting for us to reach that state of presence and trust.
Perhaps. What could happen if we, really tried to live more in the now without constantly looking outside ourselves for validation?
Yeah.
It's definitely something to ponder.